All right. Hey, everybody. What's going on? It's Jessica M. Harris, and we are back with another episode. I'm coming to you guys because this coming Saturday, tomorrow, December the 6th, we are hosting our second session, you guys, session number 2 from our Heartfelt Conversation series. And this particular workshop is called It's Time to Push. Now, last week, you heard me talk about the fact that God was highlighting the concept of get into position. And position had multiple angles. And if you didn't catch that workshop, I want you guys to grab the link in the description box below, because that's going to give you access for that class as well as the remaining sessions for the month of December. So you're going to also have access to the live conversation as well as the replays as well. And I believe that this is a conversation that we need to have, not just something that we want to have, but it truly is something that is needed and honestly simply just necessary, right? We need to know how to get into position. We need to know how to uproot them old habits, those old mindsets, and more. And that is tomorrow's focus. We're talking about the uprooting, right? And not only when it comes to habits and mindsets, but we're even talking about that unforgiveness, right? Because let's be real, your past experiences, those can cause roadblocks for you. What people have done to you in the past, or what they said about you, or even what you may even have believed about you that wasn't even true, right? Any lies that were spoken, anything of that necessary is anything in that area, right? It's necessary for you to begin to identify what those areas are so you can begin to move forward. See, when we begin to push, we begin to move things out the way so we can then begin to get the clarity and the understanding that we need. Because oftentimes it's that lack of clarity that causes us to be stagnant, that causes us to not fully walk in movement and motion. And because we don't have the clarity, we're kind of like, I don't know if I should step, maybe I can step. Or there's some people that you should be connected with, but you haven't made those connections because of what you've gone through, right? There's so many elements to this aspect. So I need you to get in the room, because these conversations are what? Heartfelt. And what do they bring? They bring healing. Because when we have these conversations, when we say them out loud, when we get them out in the atmosphere with God, it's the recognition of what it is that we've been experiencing, because now we're no longer having to toil with what's been in our hearts the entire time. Now we can begin to reframe what it is that we've been experiencing or what we've been feeling. And now we can begin to identify where the solution is that God is bringing to that situation, to that problem, to that thought process, that thought pattern, and so much more. See, God is a God of solutions, but we also have to come into agreement and be willing to receive the way that he does it. Now, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes it's in the quiet hours, right? Where I wake up in the morning or just before I go to bed and listen, let me be for real. There's times where God will interrupt my day in the midst of the day. Let me be honest, right? And I'm sitting there walking around, I'm at work, X, Y, and Z, and I'll feel that pause to pray. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to lean in, because there's a reason why God is calling me to be still in that moment. There's a reason why God is saying, hey, give this time to me right now and just sit with me, right? Like, don't worry about the other stuff right now, but just sit with me. And when I tell you that those be the moments that I hear so differently, because I'm surrendering that moment to God. I could have been taking my 30-minute break. I could have been doing, X, Y, and Z. But instead, I'm like, you know what, God, no, I want you. I want you. So please interrupt my day. Please allow this to be the action, Lord God, that you need from me right now. Please allow this, Lord God, be the movement, Lord God, that is necessary so people can begin to see that God is a God who will disrupt our days to help us, make time for him, right? Because it's almost like the concept of, will you make some time for me, right? Like, will you pause what you're doing so I can give you the clarity and the room for you to see what you're doing? And sometimes we have to be, not sometimes, my nose is itching, y'all, my bad. But like, we have to be willing to allow God in. So like I said, I'm inviting you guys to come into these conversations, because these are things that we literally go through on our own. But it's so big when we're able to come together and acknowledge this as one body, because then we begin to see the good report that he's been doing the entire time. We begin to see the elements of how he's been able to shift us and change us in the process. We begin to realize that, it wasn't that it wasn't getting worked on, but maybe I just needed to receive what he was doing in the way that he chose to do it, and to then trust that the other pieces are coming together. See, I'm so big on the concept of sharing testimonies, and I got to take that for myself, right? With Revelation 12:11, because it's the witnessing of being able to overcome by the sharing of our testimonies, right? Like when somebody shares, we are able to now have access to overcome what we're going through, because now we are able to see essentially a framework or a representation of what healing could look like. And it may not happen the same exact way that it happened for the other person, but we now have a representation of it, something that feels tangible, something that we can hold on to, something that we can go back to the word on and say, God, Romans 2:11 says, what you did for them, you can do for me. And I believe that it's possible, God. And then we begin to watch and see that he's moving in those very industries and those very areas in our lives. So I want you guys today, my bad. I told you, I don't know why my nose, it's crazy. It's cold outside. So I don't know how my nose is itching as if it's summer, but it's not. But anyways, take some time today, right? Take your journal out, take your pen out. I know the word that's been highlighted to me earlier this week, or matter of fact, yesterday and the day before, was like self-reflection. Take some time to reflect back on this year, reflect back what God has been saying to you, right? Reflect back on his promises, his word, and ask him, what is it that he wants to uproot? Ask him to identify it. Yes, our class is tomorrow, so we're definitely going to be talking about that concept for sure. But even today, take time today to ask him to identify that with you. So this is when you come into the class, you're ready to receive the outpour that he wants to provide at the same time. Because this is a process that I had to go through before I could even come before you guys about it. This is the process that I had to walk out. So this way I could share with you guys what it was with me to go through that same process. Because there's revelation in those conversations that come forth that are literally the breakings that are needed for all of us, right? The strategy of which he gave. So this way you can do the very same things of which you're needing in this season to uproot from the old, so you can begin to fully walk boldly into your new. Again, this whole workshop series is called the Heartfelt Conversations, but the specific element of this particular series is called It's Time to Push, which means getting into position, uprooting the old, standing on his word, and then holding on to your faith in the process. And the last week is special because not only do we take all of what we've learned over the first 4 weeks, but we also begin to learn how to leverage the moment. How to leverage the moment with the story that he's giving you in your own walk and in your own journey. So I'm pumped. I'm excited. If you didn't know who I am, I'm Jessica M. Harris. I am, excuse me, guys. I'm an author, a podcaster, a mom to 3 amazing kids. I'm a media strategist, and truly so much more. And I'm here to help you guys on this journey of walking boldly in faith with God. So again, the classes are taking place this coming Saturday, meaning tomorrow, mañana, right, is the class. Now, tomorrow's class time adjustment is going to take place. Normally they're at 10 a.m. Eastern time, but tomorrow I'm making it for 11 a.m. Eastern, just because I have a commitment that I made initially at 10 for tomorrow, because it's the first Saturday in my church and we do prayer. And I really do enjoy the prayer meetings, unless God sees something different. But if you guys are able to meet me at 11 a.m., join the live session. Otherwise, grab the bundle below. So this way you can just, stay tuned, right? Watch the replays. Allow it to minister to your spirit and whatnot as you go about your day. All of these sessions will be held on Zoom. So this way you can move forward in the very areas of which you are calling forth in this season. And we believe by faith that God is doing a new thing, hands down, according to Isaiah 43:18-19. So again, I'm Jess. If you are just now tuning in, listen, welcome in. Hey, catch the replay, run this thing back. If you're catching this on the replay, definitely put #replay. And if you are ready to jump in on this series, then definitely put put a yellow heart for me. Put a yellow heart, so I can know that you're ready to glow up together in this season. All right, you guys, I'm Jessica M. Harris. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you. And I will see you mañana in the room. Bye for now.